Hello, everyone. We are live. I am, of course, Richard Miller, the one and only. This is the quarantine stream, the 66th. No, the 66th one. We will have none of that. Hope you're doing okay out there, staying safe, staying healthy, all that. All right. Strange stuff. All right. This is, of course, could be none other than Conspiracy of Silence. Oh, we didn't do the quarantine stream theme. Jesus. We're all discombobulated all of a sudden. How did I miss that? All right. Let us do Conspiracy of Silence. We walk by each other on the street. You do not speak. I can see you have no ambition. You can see I have no standards. I don't speak. We are parallel. I've seen you in the water. You've seen me dream. You never eat, and I never sleep. Turn your head, bend your neck. Tiny flower. Pressed to your chest. We walk by each other on the street, never met, but there's still a blink of recognition. We enter the plane. We're flying over England, viewing from behind the wings, seeing St. George's Cross spread over the aisles, all the way down to the carriage of the Queen. It's a conspiracy. 35 millimeter slow motion shot of Bernini's St. Longinus. Who wrapped it round and hung the wires that laid at the feet of the Empire? Ever picked up that call? Ever read those books in the basement? We walk by each other on the street. We don't know each other. We do not speak. I roll my eyes and you repeat the conversation from a passing taxi. It's a conspiracy. Blue, green. We are water, etching lines and rocks, running diagonal patterns on the face of the clock, blurring the note on the windscreen, a pristine, steady stream, or drops from the sky echoing to your mouth. And you need to ask, wondering if your feet are on fire and these are your first steps into the bath, a murmur, a moan, and you need to ask, ever feel the fog touch your curled hair in the everlasting afternoon? All my dreams, all my dreams, all my dreams. All my dreams are in blue and green. The herring was red. I sleep on a purple bed with fresh white sheets. It's a conspiracy with a wink of complicity. I can slip right in an inside improvisation. No, a pantomime playing at the Museum of the Mind. It's easy, it's instant, it's open if you want it, and I want in. Does it diverge from memory? It's a conspiracy. Did the blue dog climb up your stairs? What kind of candy was it, and when did you take it? It's a conspiracy. Did you get scolded by the man trying to hand it to you? Like the lilting willow, we walk from window to window. We don't know each other. The tempered glass is salt water in our hands. And I think, I think I need to give thanks. I see a lantern you're holding out of the ground, and more like the weeping wall, curled into a ball and newly resolved. It damn sure ain't a pantomime. It's a mystery. It's a conspiracy. Ever swing on the gutter like a vine? Ever fly over the jungle in a silver plane? See it wet with rain? We walk by each other on the street. You've seen me. I don't know you, and we don't speak. There's an open hand above your head, but it's an optical illusion. From the clouds without sound. It's your secret to keep. It's a conspiracy. Was that you out there on the balcony? What did he say? The painting there, did you find it confusing? Think it lacks meaning? But look right to left, not center down. It's all one scene. Do you see it now? It's a conspiracy. Yes, you heard me and made me admit your moment, your Pyrrhic victory. Can I have this dance? It's a conspiracy. We walk by each other on the street. We see each other, but we don't speak. Your fingernails are blue. Your lipstick is green. The leather on your boots is frayed at the seams. I know that in your dreams you're still 15, with a stolen cigarette you nicked from the vending machine. The lung branches are soaked and your bubble perm is fast falling. And wouldn't it be funny if your interior life from now on, it's just this moment endlessly repeating, same photograph on the wall mistaken for a mirror, and you can identify, you can empathize, but you can't know what on earth I see each other on the street. Duke Ellington, East St. Louis plays the theme. Cast iron boat, sterling silver symphony. We don't know each other. You start to speak, but it's drowned out by the man with the loudspeaker and the papers proselytizing his religious beliefs. It's like we're curators, caretakers for something we never saw, never knew, but understand purely on instinct and instant assimilation, empathy, ecstasy, impressions of the senses. We are the examples. It is ours to not let the charted land that gives us food to eat and water to drink, a place to walk and live, vanish in clouds, or become such a stranger that we are only hearing clashing tongues and react with a stance that turns wretched, frozen, and cavalier. We will reach and remain unlabeled, walk free in the community, fly over and under unanimity. We are the examples. We trace the dim signal. We will remain enthralled and observe the entrance without, and relics and rituals with and without, and he used to kiss her often on her. When you talk to the clouds, can you? When you talk to yourself, father's mother, 7 flowers on 7 stars on the chest of the Creator, we realize what is within and outside of us, what's invisible to the eye and eludes our touch. We understand the light inside the image obscures the image inside the light, the red and blue, the blue and green. You never sleep, we see you dream. It's a conspiracy. Someone very, very brilliant and very special and very deep in their wisdom once said to me, you see a chair as it is, but when you burn the chair, you see the chair in your head did not burn or disappear. Motor oil on a block of ice, river of fire where a miracle was denied, filter water poured carefully on top of a block of ice, and seeping down the slanted floor slowly down toward the recording device, from whom no secrets are hid. I'll believe this one thing, even if the rest of the list is lies, until we crystallize straight to heaven. It's a conspiracy. Course. They're sitting in a circle, a celebration among friends, sharing your favorite passages out of a blank book. Closed circle, making notations on the pages with a candle wick. The chandelier hangs beautifully, laughter sparkles, and the champagne from the cellar under the cellar is free. Yes, it is a conspiracy. You walked in, I woke up. We were docked outside Oyster Bay on a mutual friend's houseboat. You arranged the table, gave a long look, and said, I'll give you good reason to take away my right to vote. We see each other on the street, eyes looking at the stoplight intently and drinking coffee that smells like crayons. The guy next to me on his iPhone reads, intimations of infidelity were a red herring. Me and the guy selling streetwise laugh at his timing. Must be a counselor, apparently, or a confidence man, or a trial lawyer playing fast and forgetful with the facts, or a city planner changing his mind with each passing glance. We're walking out of Preston, zipping up your leather jacket. When you said you laid nude with your adversary, I asked how it happened. You accepted the invitation, met in the garden, rested your heads on the stone wall that runs the perimeter. Did you pay rapt attention when the nightingale told his fairy tale? Did you ache in the silent seconds of the confession? You see me on the street, I see what's in your hands. Our eyes don't meet. As people walk out of Walgreens, you ask, Did you pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you? Do you bless those who curse you? I'll tell you this, it's a conspiracy. The morning mass was busy ignoring any message that wasn't theirs. It's a conspiracy? Was that a sneer? We know! She was standing on a corner in South London under a red umbrella on a sunny day, gold necklace and gold waist chain. Do you have a title? Yeah, but I can't tell you. Look, can I take what I need? Please. I said to her, she said to me, I'm your sister and you just don't know it. Not a martyr, a seer, not an abandoned spirit. Is this Don Giovanni? It's a conspiracy? I hailed a limousine. We walked by each other on the street. We've never met. I know what kind of fruit you eat. I have no ambition. You're trying to get my attention by throwing a flag on the feet of the gentleman delivering a block of marbled meat with a business card tucked neatly in the wrapping. 7 numbers on blue ink over the lettering. Did you count the columns around the building? 34 in a perfect circle. Ever been up to the top floor, skip school one morning and take the tour? We walk by each other on the street. We're carrying a painting. We won't speak. I don't sleep. You cannot dream. You walk up the white door and wait for access. You left a book on your desk. The cover was worn and the binding was torn, but you like the questions that it asks. Razor cuts. How many songs can you sing in the sun? How long is the transmission? 7 flowers on your chest. It's not for lack of trying. It's a conspiracy. You walked in an oval. You thought over each permutation of the image's meaning. You looked through a stainless steel window and down to the streets. Then you looked at me. It's a question of genealogy. We see each other. We do not speak. The question, they looked at you. You looked at me. It's a conspiracy. How are we doing out there? This is called Sympathy for the Cowboy. Sympathy for the cowboy, all alone on the range. After the war ended, he was forced to change his name. Sympathy for the cowboy, holding his dying brother, who begged with his last breath, Tell mother I died with honor. Sympathy for the meth lab and all who fight in harm's way, who hope to abolish minimum wage, and charge only $15 a day. Sympathy for modern times and those who argue that they are right. Sympathy for the victim who already has all the laws on their side. Sympathy for the student who's only lived in theory, in a hammer and sickle t-shirt, walking away from the barricade. Sympathy for the lawsuit and all who fought for reform. Sympathy for the bumper sticker telling you to be reborn. Sympathy for the stallion, running free and too wild to ride. Sympathy for the guy who tried. His wife cried, in his foolish pride. Sympathy for the strawberry, the trial separations, press releases pleading for privacy. Of course, doing it for the kids. Sympathy for the nihilist, sucking on his cigarette, cutting you off in traffic. No constraints of guilt or regret. Sympathy for the stalker on his computer outside, looking up pictures of you in high school, saving each one, even if it takes him all night. Sympathy for the cowboy whose son moved off the ranch, said he might be coming back soon, if there's no change of plans. Let's call them Dancing with the Skeleton Key. I'm dancing with the skeleton key pinned under my belt the night after I'd had two simultaneous dreams, an ocular split screen, one where a white-tailed fawn galloped to the front door, and another where my brother couldn't sleep. I'm dancing with the skeleton key tied on a twine cord around my neck, remembering when my sister was locked in a minivan and stranded in a parking lot outside of Austin. She kissed the windows and ate the tape left in the cassette deck. I'm dancing with the skeleton key, an unopened mouth tucked behind my wisdom teeth and obscured by my tongue. I have memories that my sister still won't believe, and I wish I could have edited the 20th century. It all could have been done so much better. I'm dancing with the skeleton key scotch taped to my arm. When I was in school, the vice principal gave himself a heart condition, trying to figure out who had stolen from the convenience store, and then had the nerve to boast about it on the blackboard. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in the grotto of a dilapidated Catholic church, where the priest once confessed to me that after each funeral he performed, the only way he could raise his spirits was by making uneasy music with the organist, and then getting in a helicopter and fleeing the state for a long period of time. I'm dancing with the skeleton key concealed in an alley while bells chime at midnight near the railroad, and kids with no curfew dodge between dashing headlights on their way to play hide and seek in the park. I'm dancing with the skeleton key laid on the floor of a garage while my brother draws out diagrams on poster boards connecting lines from consequences of thoughts to isolated islands of thinking divided by unintended regressions of actions. I'm dancing with the skeleton key while I am safe at home looking at sealed bags of clothes that I stopped wearing years ago when I was running for mayor on an unconfirmed platform of leaking out information about the governor. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in an adjacent office because the evidence my brother uncovered just got delivered to the lawyer, and he predicts it will make the judge jump and remove any condemnation from his mouth. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in a strip mall that used to be a swimming pool, and before that a man-made hill that covered demilitarized waste trucked over from a Floridian base, and it will still take 100,000 years before any of it reaches its half-life. I'm dancing with the skeleton key clasped tightly in my hand as I watch my sister in the mirror speaking sentences using only one word and planting orchids next to power lines in the backyard. Then she dots the driveway with empty jars to more accurately measure the rainfall. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my pocket, moving loosely with me. My brother used to cry bitterly to our parents every time he got a ticket, refuting each offense, denying that he had done any of it. I'm dancing with the skeleton key sliding uncomfortably in my shoe, but the nuisance helps give me the presence of mind to always hold up what I was taught, that when the rent is due, it's better to be full and well slept than to just hand over a blank check. I'm dancing with the skeleton key pressed into a book, watching leaves in the wind, and a novelist at a press conference performing fake sign language, hoping it will get him the attention he wants for trying to revive the printed word. It's called They Never Felt Sorrow. Written a very long time ago, but on a very hot summer day, very much just like this one. Mind recover recourse cavern, colic, garlic, wrapped in rape, duck blood, punching wino, porno, spinning, span spew, lacerating, stomach bleeding, howling dirge, summer camp, bitch boy, never ending, never mind, I'm just your soul, ass preaching, psycho dancers, wildly flashing life dance, owl slop, teasing, jeering, genocide, clown of fools, crucifixion, demigod, good morning, phallic moon, looking, lurking, thoughts stealing, marquee peace lemme, understanding, underhanding, fetal genes, spleen spill, lip smart, claustrophobic exaltation, spreading love, semi-happy, sleep feather finger, grinding sand, carpetbagger through the heart, silver bullet for all to see, street scene, blue jean, bow tie, syrup cracker, kicking speed, flare monkey, overwhelming, coffee lush, dead unharmed, roast teeth, parking lane, culture storehouse, shock, sleepy diction, slicking, rabbi, madly turned, tired heart, syncopation, simulation, belt sanding, reaping now, O.B. siren stroll, lost forever, pointing blank, flashing flasher, abstractly red writ tax void, corrosion slicing, tired brain cell, paranoid, lumpen self. This is called, this is from a book I did in 2016. Uh, the book is called Salt or Light. And the piece that I'm about to read is called The Rabbit and the Cowardly Wolf. Who cares? An angry and grown sore, spreading red and silently whining. The body? What body? The published excerpts. Her body, a brace of muscle spasms in her right bicep. She'd observe her pet rabbit in its cage and skip past the turn of the century print in her father's office depicting a box hunt, and yet, just one block away, another rabbit sat in the passenger seat, horribly embarrassed as the cowardly wolf got a breathalyzer and then failed to walk in a straight line. But back to the unnamed girl. I think it might have been Amanda or Amy. When one's head is round as a bowling ball and smokes their shame and presses bare-chested on saplings in the spring at dawn for an unobserved tiny tingle before the roll is called. Clearly mockery is uncalled for and exoneration is at a premium. But we shall not allow for a violation of definitions, especially for one as important to this narrative as Amanda or Amy. No, 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 no. When the rabbit stepped down as the star of his own sitcom to attend to those personal issues there had been so many whispers about, the cowardly wolf suddenly was left without something to watch, emulate, idolize, sneak in a quick jerk during the commercials to, argue with, get enlightened by, surprised by, study, evaluate, grade, rate, review, proselytize on behalf of, display obscure knowledge of, and obviously whinge that it wasn't as good as the early years, and that he would know since he was there before whoever he wasn't impressing. But since no other show gave the cowardly wolf the flood of serotonin he craved so restlessly, he grudgingly and pragmatically chose to watch reruns in perpetuity. And why not dress it up a little? They could be revivals, or even better, celebrations, a new institution, as part of our shared experience and ongoing mounting heritage. And he could also laugh under his breath in an embarrassed way while noting, oh, this section hasn't particularly aged well, and everyone would smile and nod along, knowing exactly what he meant before they found something else to be offended by very soon afterwards. Right? Clutter. Television was revoked. The rabid Cowardly Wolf decided to intercept their favorite actor's private plane as he touched down at the dullest fucking airport that you can imagine. The duo were hilarious to themselves. Is he wearing rayon? It's not like he couldn't afford Ultra Suede. After the doctor greeted them with a few after the actor greeted them with a few quick canned quips, he definitely inked two memories, and upon his departure the Cowardly Wolf chided the rabbit about mistaking the actor's autograph for a pictograph. As they later sat in the 50s diner, their root beers run flat, the jukebox unplugged by the owner. Who was that fighter who won a round without throwing a single punch? It wasn't Willie Pep. Which one are you? It was, in fact, Willie Pep. Though Muhammad Ali came close. I don't know if he officially won the rounds or not. But during the 1965 first fight with Floyd Mayweather in 1965 in Las Vegas, which Floyd, did I say Floyd Mayweather? Did I say Floyd Patterson? Floyd Patterson, which he took at the insistence of Frank Sinatra to prove, in essence, that the civil rights movement was the correct movement, and black separatism, as represented by Muhammad Ali, was wrong. Muhammad Ali won that first round by in fact faking punches, and Floyd Patterson flinched whenever Ali would mimic that he was about to throw a punch. And though I think while Willie Pep did go an entire round without throwing a single punch, and in fact won the round, see, that's a little bit of a red herring. Muhammad Ali, I think, did actually throw one or two punches towards the end of the round. He actually threw punches. Floyd Patterson was humiliated that night as Muhammad Ali. He had nicknamed him the Rabbit because he was so timid and afraid of Ali, but showed up to his training camp with carrots, in fact. But the real thing there was during the fight. The business of not calling him Muhammad Ali really started. So what Ernie Terrell and later Joe Frazier sort of perfected started with Floyd Patterson, who would only call him Cassius Clay. He was humiliated that night as Muhammad Ali jeered at him and called him a white man. That was his put down for him that night, was to call him white man. And later, again, this was the beginning of all of this, crystallized later on with the Ernie Terrell fight, and then went into a whole weird abstract area with Joe Frazier. But Floyd Patterson, humiliated and defeated, threw out his back during the fight, had back spasms, all sorts of weirdness happened that night. Anyway, went to I think it was at the Sands, Frank Sinatra's suite at the Sands, to personally apologize for having not only lost but just been absolutely humiliated. And Sinatra would not speak to him. Sinatra literally turned his back on him at the Sands, and then Robert Lipsyte, I think writing for the New York Times, said that Ali's performance that night was akin to a child pulling the wings off of a butterfly or burning ants with a magnifying glass. And Ali was roundly criticized for his behavior that night. Unfortunately, that was not the end of the humiliations for Floyd Patterson. Many years later, he was the head. He was sort of I don't know, he was a figurehead. He was sort of powerless. He was the head of the New York State Boxing Commission, and had to testify. I want to say it was something related to Mike Tyson, but I don't know why it would be related to Mike Tyson. Maybe it was to reinstate Tyson as a fighter. I don't know. But Floyd Patterson had early onset Alzheimer's and was absolutely came apart while being cross-examined, and it was very sad. I think he retired soon after that. It's tragic. He was a good man. As much as I love Muhammad Ali, Floyd Patterson was a good man and really deserved better in life. So that's what is being alluded to. That went down a really long road. But you're here for the long haul, right? It's an afterthought, welcoming back Amanda or Amy, and welcoming back all of you into this glorious poem. He spent his first life as Alexander the Great's chariot. He'd get upset when his action figures didn't eat the cucumber sandwiches he'd made. He'd put down his crayons and say things like, "You're Arnold and I'm Willis. No, you're Mr. Drummond and I'm Dudley. Well, I'm Bruce Wayne and you're Commissioner Gordon. No, you're Dick Grayson and I'm Edward Nygma. No, you're wrong. I'm Ryan Sandberg. Not fucking anymore, kid. And you're Leon Durham. No, you're you're wrong. I'm Sean Dunstan. Yes, and you're Leon Durham. No, you're Keith Moreland and I am Jerry Humphrey. Was it Mumfrey? Yes. Amanda or Amy. I handed him my ovation, but it wouldn't play. Total silence. He gave it back, and I sounded like Segovia. He tried one more time, and it was like someone had pressed a mute button. I see that you've just wandered in. How would you like to give an account of yourself? The unclean offerings are an example of a permissive society, the long, thin membrane that seems to lead skyward. You are so well spoken, and none of us would have noticed. Reverse gentrification. The committee smiles, the lead lawyer holding out a pen. The rabbit renews his contract, and his first project is a mystery called If Only You Were Innocent. Photographs, press conference, no disclosed details of the arrangement. He thanked his agent Marty Weber with a note and a fruit basket. The rabbit's people punched up the script with gems like, "Son, you're a born fact checker, right down to the letter." And nothing's better than having a conversation with some stupid motherfucker who's on their phone fact checking you while you are speaking. It's not really a conversation then, is it? You might as well have to be sworn in first, perhaps. Stupid motherfuckers. Oh, I'll sell my secrets because I don't care. And of course, only dogs try to understand things. You know, it was perhaps written in the spirit of Jack Nicholson's deathless one-liner. No one buys anything from a man with a sense of humor. Meanwhile, the cowardly wolf had disappeared for 4 days to investigate a garden. He had wanted to make a biopic about himself, but he couldn't secure the rights. Funny how that works. The rabbit and the cowardly wolf slumped drunkenly against the back wall of their town, with only the moonlight reflecting off their wine bottle. Nit, not neither the herod and butcher's wife, nor the laborer pounding spikes shall befeel a rigidity known in the necks like the mechanic's rocks, that feels nor floats a lodestone on the banks betwixt a bell end and an alarm clock. Do you think it's wrong to contradict yourself? Seasick, since you are no longer allowed to enjoy a glass of water? Cowardly wolf mumbles a roar as that goddamn kid is taking his seat on the train again. Off the rails with that stupid fucking wretched decade. Then the remorse, the introspective post-mortem. Perhaps we are entering into that now. The fashion, the architecture, the music, the media, the technology, indecisive broad gestures, sweeping changes of the subject, conflating placating terminology with warm sentiment. Wow, imagine that. The cowardly wolf appears to ignore the newsfeed. Deeply flawed, archaic, downright prehistoric. Dances over the line of self-parody so often you start to lose the ability to tell the difference. An obvious, forced version of what he used to do so effortlessly. I really miss Amanda or Amy. The rabbit and the cowardly wolf get x-rays together, paw in paw at the clinic. Nothing's broken, they just like the way their jewelry looks against their bones and the photographs. At the ballet, the view from the private box is undisturbed, and the rabbit relaxes and holds a bucket of carrots. The cowardly wolf watches him gnaw. They bought tickets using pseudonyms and are wearing new suits with contrasting fedoras and little pasted-on beards. Let's see if we can find it. Feeling lucky? Let's see if we can find it. We might not be able to. Shit, we can't. Damn. Oh well. I was looking for something pretty amazing. Damn. All right. Very well. No fun for anyone. In between acts, the cowardly wolf yawns, "Must they always?" Which the rabbit doesn't hear. Then the lights go black. A cameo appearance. The rabbit bribed a policeman, and the cowardly wolf crouched behind a bush, filming it all. And while both are smart enough to accept that this is, in fact, an inherently artificial medium, they can't stand exposition disguised as dialogue, or arbitrary structural decisions, or the limitations of the budget. And when some exec just wants to cast his nephew because he needs a way to break in, Amanda or Amy, I've always had such a high opinion of you. Save your dignity. Don't call the press. Preserve the essence of drama, the command, the show that intermittently ends and begins. This is called Tongue in Cheek. I sit all. Oh, no, let's start it over. I sit all alone in my log cabin waiting. Don't you love the countryside? The dog that never ticks and the clock that never barks. The book I read was boring and my feet hurt. Out of obligation, I decided to put the broom away. This is easy, and so are you. I could be a god all dressed up in a leather tuxedo. I'm surrounded by menthol idiots. Word of mouth, dictation from the heavens. It's called Shedding Skins. Bloody Neuteron, the ringworm dancing with a spectral beauty that isolates fleeting flags and flowers from their glorious panderings, only to find they need no bounds to pillage the free-flow love mine boiling on the calluses of their corneas. But you, yes, you know him actually on the second time around, forever never considered why you laugh or what you grunt behind, and nothing is alas everything has been unrecovered by the sallow aristocracy implosion, in order when little girls encased in gender sunshine pull down the dawn and shriek merrily of the conquest of fantasy facts, that which in proven by the powers that appear in, by, how, where, or because the lightning rays that is the steel girder stapled to the collective loin nicked off its kerosene shell until the rural timeshare spat mucus from the utter depths of their backwoods soul scenery and trounced upon radiators, slashing sharply in the wind in neatly layered sharkskin sweater investments, droning to the click drum madness that haunts the delights of the cupids and raises their swords to obscene Nazis that now, branching to the stratosphere, came nearer and nearer to their choice flight of just destination, gesticulatingly appointed by the elder Olympus, that no man hath done tread upon, neither conquering nor salivating, the twisted pipeline perpetuating ghostly consequence, leading in for the crescendo that yearns to flee away. Perhaps to the gutter, perhaps to the perforation, perhaps the hostage's cage in the womb, 36 inches by the only thoughts you can't repress, manifesting suggests that by life and honor the first depths came forth united to the neither loyalty nor comprehend, instead shaping the wing taught so flagrantly as well known to regard its own high priest as the height and unique daft eccentricity. Old mad she who curses doth not wield the plenitude into sleeping, but only scraping stones from its fingerprints, tangled lewdly in connection and gratification with a floundering spider's web. It's called Parallel Place. I live in a parallel place where the land is level, where the streets are bright in the evenings and I know what tomorrow brings. I live in a parallel place where the wind is cold, where gray-haired men sweep the bandshell and foxes sleep underneath church bells. I hear the lank-haired women walking in the morning, their faces shaped by the sun. I live in a parallel place where there's endless electricity with very low voltage, where everyone dies of old age. I live in a parallel place where rain runs into a tunnel, where able-bodied women clear the gutters and dragonflies rise in a slow-motion flutter. I see the able-bodied men hauling fallen branches, their faces shaded by the sun. I live in a parallel place where people speak in peace, where the foreman's spouse greets the mailman in a see-through blouse. I live in a parallel place where the forest faces east, where contracts are written in invisible ink and codes are created with a wink. I see all the people breathing through the day, their faces graced by the sun. Blissful cardinals, blissful infants, blue reflections magnified 10,000 times, blue beams bouncing off aged lenses, radiant artifacts, radiant heirlooms, white sails blistered by the salty sun, white china stacked up in cupboards, shining domes, shining necklaces, green feelings balanced on a yardstick, green parchment weighted down by grapes. It's called White Apple. Excuse me. The audience glares. The audience is alone, projected onto the cities, moving mouths, upside down, silent, cement. Struggles for breath, lets the water run, walks with a stilted, failing gait. The water runs in the documentary behind the page, a lesson in taking what you need, wanting to know, so bad, so thirsty, so eager for the seed. Roman columns, deep shadows, buttressed arches, collective fallen breach. Eyes cast upon the outer circles, eyes cast upon the oval rings over the sea, eyes cast on eternity, eyes cast on maternity. Then across the alley, across the street, he could see cracks in the statue's feet. He crashed his car against a building, against a lamppost, fluttering fingers ivory, dancing around, darting mercury. The survivalist juts forward, head leering off the shoulders, sees the wet walkways glistening over, enunciates to nobody listening. His face an impression in plaster, refers to a thought he had earlier, but it's too austere to articulate. He's had too much sugar to hold his hands straight. As the glass carton breaks, he collapses, the cream running parallel over his veins. The audience on stage, the public face encased in a clear plastic capsule with evenly explained rules typed on an eggshell card displayed underneath, each remark catalogued and critiqued, each dismal dismissal a prized antique. Washed clean when the day ran dry, the only dot in the satellite sky, the audience needing permission, needing drink, needing oxygen again. The combination hidden in international waters, the shadow shining on the light. Everything in plain sight secret, a camera on its tripod spinning a circular angle, a code transferred, captured, held by an ascending angel. All are welcome, but come open-handed, without guests or family. You'll enter easier naked, and your intentions won't be mistaken. Jagged rocks under the rushing river which lead to the lake. The scene is a remake, a three-point star shape, superimposed with stretching hands, making a cityscape. And cold exhaling, creating, hovering clouds. Silent! Take out the sound. I want to hear the rushing. I want to hear the pounding. I want to hear the happening. After the action, the empty air in my ears. I want to hear the flying birds make their calls. Hear the echo reverberate off of ancient stone walls. It's called Cheltenham Girl. Like a cloud, beautiful sound standing before the signal. When the light shines on the ground, it reflects off the wheel. Parking lot next to the short building on the edge of the desert. She sees it's harder to be a number when you're just starting out as a visitor. Cheltenham Girl. Cheltenham Girl. Clouds can't create the shapes they make or hold on to any rain. Precious, temporary, holding no domain. No machines, no cell phone or computers clicking through broken links. Credit card, social security needed. She'll refuse to register. Cheltenham Girl. Cheltenham Girl. Every day, another wish, another mile, closer to the point where I can portray it. Until then, all I'll do is sing to her spirit, and she will return. She will return. It's called People. I am a young man, closed off in this room. My name, it doesn't matter. Where I'm from, I can't tell you. I always wanted to control my destiny, not share responsibility, so I could be free. They sent me off to college so I could learn the law. I met a lot of people, each one with a different cause. I turned myself to physics and astronomy to see if I could throw away the seeds they'd put in me. I drifted down to the south and I saw it was vast. I memorized equations on the eyeless ending sand. I knew that my superiors, they were very strong. They would put me up in space and never steer me wrong. But my expectations didn't fly, they kept me on the ground. The paperwork was drafted and I was shown around. They checked my past for arrests, my retinas were scanned. I hoped that there would come a day where I could take command. They made me go and lock the doors and cue the landing lights. It was a secret mission in the middle of the night. The burners started blaring. I crawled inside my suit. Knew I wouldn't come back, even if they asked me to. I am a young man closed off in this room. My name, it doesn't matter. Where I'm from, I can't tell you. I always wanted to control my own destiny. Wanted to go and vanish up in the slipstream. The Emperor looked at the head of the horse, lifted his hand and picked out the brains, opened his mouth and smeared the remains. He dressed his servants as nymphs in pans. Little boys in the nude stayed in the pool to bite on his body while he swam. His sister said, "If breath is a blade, then desire's the cage. Claim your birthright before you're saved." Had his mother killed, made it a crime to laugh. Attack the statue whose clothes matched his own, his bleeding fists sunk into the gold. He memorized the lives of the gods. Jezebel stole him a tunic. He began planning his burial. At night he debated with Jupiter. He saw Palatine Hill. The volcanoes were calm before the Christians burned. Diamond-tipped shovels were used to pierce the columns and arches, jewels and violins. The violins on Palatine Hill played like birds colliding in the air. The torches flared. All the grain was set glowing. The senator's body rolled back on the sheets, his speech like a paused spasm, murmuring, "I'm nursing a viper." The rest of the ward willingly succumbed immediately. In the middle of the gymnasium were booths with men in bulletproof vests, giving out ballots and voluntary vaccinations to guard against contaminants. While in line, you could read pamphlets on the issues or flip to pictures of festering boils. It's slippery and strange to walk alone. Sealed lips will keep the borders closed, and no infestations will travel north. Nothing to arrest security, just a cure to keep people in the grasp of liberty. The medicine was made with pearls dissolved in vinegar. The choice was made by pulling the lever. The searchlights were made for us by the protector. A thief entered. Everyone was roused. The wife and kids looked at the head of the house. He opened his robe and threw a small bomb. Later, standing over the intruder's body, he thought through history and spoke his favorite quote. "I want him to feel like he's dying." Free grain for everyone who asks. Free grain for everyone who enters. Wheat in exchange for marble. Wheat for the state. She takes the leather, squirms in the saddle. The dust closes her eyes. I can see the red jacket from here. Two girls climb the stairs, very poised and aware. They'd been here before, the Los Angeles smog against their backs. Two men arrive the next morning to drop off a pair of glasses and smear the window pane. The teenager can't make a sale, so he packs up his stereo equipment and his clock radio, exits out past the telephone pole. When they were done, they sat in the kitchen and carved up some watermelon. An hour later, they threw away their clothes. Young man in the backyard. The owner doesn't know he's there. Taking a drink from the garden hose. Drops his flashlight on the ground. He dropped his flashlight on the ground. soundscapes fly from dusk, sterility restricted to their thoughts. Bleak as the day they were born. But the concrete is in a state of flux, and the forest lies under a soiled blanket of lucid dreams. Pale-faced disintegration and the awestruck, penniless geometric cluster, and its meaningless tradition. For some quiet, they'd drink shattered glass. For some peace, they'd murder a stillborn baby. Savages behind closed doors, but who commits treason and defines what's pure? With the precise rhythms and the headache medicine, memories seep through like blood under a fingernail. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. Preface to manifest slavery, entire chapters to write, planets of aliens to conceive. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. This is called Windy Sequins. Through the missing bricks, you could see a banquet table with a candelabra crooked from water-falling wax. On the other side of the missing bricks, there is a tablecloth with faintly gray cloth stains left by mourning doves. Through the missing bricks, there is a banquet table, heaving with indentations from apples, persimmons, cantaloupes, and pears. On the other side of the missing bricks, there is a deer walking in the distance while a finger painting floats to the ground. Through the missing bricks, there is a banquet table with unopened telegrams and sturdy silver trays stacked up with books about the Enlightenment. On the other side of the missing bricks, there is a pebble garden placed on a tree branch next to a mortar and pestle. Through the missing bricks, there is a banquet table lined along the bottom right edge with bowls of cold dandelion soup. Seated 45 degrees away from the banquet table is a man with a salt and pepper waxed mustache humming waltzes and complaining about the distortions of sounds and colors. 110 years old, and he doesn't know that electric blue can be beautiful too. This is called Cactus Wren. We were home. We were home to Membranio Apaches. We were home to Yaquis, without walls or laws. For 370 years, they built their temples, traveled as equals, people of the willows. The sun is stronger than the wind. The air was never humid until the irrigation, until the borders. The retirement built from bricks made of clay, the sizzling cast iron, clear chrome eggs. There's an angry rain falling tonight in the desert. Jagged drops splatter in the sand. Bobcats running for cover. Leopard lizard looking for rocks to hide under. There's a lot of people without power. Seriously. Good Lord. This is called Animals. You soaked the carpet in lingo, scratching the hair off your arms. You kicked out the stranger, ridiculed the superstitions that he had held on to. You lie restless, staying clean, wiping sweat, and I think about this quite a lot, pressing the grooves of my fingerprints into my forehead, sending an idea that reminds us both. Hell, there was another plan in crumbles of sugar. I saw a wild motion. I hunched towards it. I looked at it happening. It felt like a parade. Elephants awake and gallant. I had been so nerve-stacked the loops of my heartstrings matched my eyelashes. I wore a royal blue jacket with gold sleeves. There was a swirl that came from the trumpets, a triumphant chaos of repeating. There were banners hung from. My fingers had gone purple from clutching the baskets next to me. American Gothic didn't have this many thorns or any sepia tones to run on. I was welcomed in the house. I ate the cracker offered. The speech heated steadily. I found a pit of flower seeds. The displays had chanting in chips of bone and silver, a collection for the prison and dried hides of hunters. There wasn't an explosion, but then the ground bled. I swam through the cracks. All the plants had red stems. I want to be new, roll on straw, get my ribs bit by a tiger. I have memories about you, that cackle. I can see you bumming a cigarette from your grandkids with a sizzled mouth and bald patch. When you were younger, you were springing your superhero underwear, but you couldn't be my life, and we certainly never paid rent to each other, and there's so many people who don't know where to go to battle. I can climb to the top of the bungalow and jump off the second level, kick my legs on the way down and get strawberry Italian ice from Freddy's after. I can climb into a yellow Nova, and when my foot goes through the floorboard, I'll flag down a passerby, pay for a ride on the thresher. Wolves that land can burst into fire. Deer protect themselves, and bears break into grain silos. Rabbits are the rats of the desert and crawl to eat the mice on the plains. When the evening is still and quiet, the candles are glowing violet. The sultry air makes you drop your cares, your doubts and your frowns. You descend the stairs and head into town. Walk through the leafy glade, float on the ground beneath you. Walk all night with your gaze fixed on your lover's face. Sing a song of love that you learned from above. Dream of her caress, the nape of her neck, and know that you'll never part. When the evening is still and dark, light remains in your heart. You feel so free, smashing on where you could be, skipping stones all alone and not mine. Walk through the leafy glade, float on the ground beneath you, picture her delicate face, and ring the bell at her gate. Sing a song of love, feel your joy soar like a dove, and when you're at home, reading her poems, you know that you have found someone who can make all your dreams come true. This is called Fawn. You might recognize some of these people. Some of them might, in fact, even be you. Two brothers named Canary were said to have stolen from the community chest. They didn't have the decency to steal from the wealthy, take what they need, and give away the rest. But the law couldn't be trusted and thus was never called, so the Canaries were chastised and marched to the town walls. The locals hoped word would travel down the wire that they'd be denied food, lodgings, and water wherever they retired. But quickly enough, the Canaries were forgotten and continued to ride along freely without judgment or punishment, and if they committed any further acts of thievery, it was never noted publicly. Griffith, resplendent in a natty navy suit, steals Jessica's champagne in a wrong-headed attempt to give it back later as a gift, thinking that she'll appreciate it more. Jessica, powerful yet delicate in a mellow peppermint pencil dress, rubs the bristle of Griffith's temples into his sweat and wonders how many texts he'll have to hide from her next. Griffith says he can break skin without bleeding. He dyes water blue before he drinks. He memorizes reviews, then skips to the end of the books he reads. Jessica can get arrested and go straight home and spend the rest of her week yelling at strangers on the street and snapping reaction shots at the backs of their heads. Griffith is flummoxed as he's photographed exiting his favorite bar in the early morning, his mother's birthday on his mind and a lone cigarette tucked behind his left ear. Jessica is photographed ironically flashing a peace sign, her mother's week-long visit thankfully now over. Griffith explains to his extended family the nature of his many public feuds and why they will persist, and bats away a leading question by their lawyer, disregarding being disproven by facts, feeling justified in thinking that the best way to reconcile a discrepancy is to attack. Or, as might have been dreamt of in a different way, they made fun of his family name. They insulted his family name. They made fun of his family name. They insulted his family name. Jessica explains to the management of her company that discounting what could be considered as her offensive language, the inherent truth of her statement still stood, though she was struck speechless when asked if she thought if only her supporters were aware of her content. According to her informants, a known opponent, unaware she was being recorded, made a mark the weight of which contradicted her previously stated public stance. Imagine fucking that. Pablo floats in the ectoplasm washed in the oils marked. Prize fish. Fawn's teeth snap on water when her magnetic cold alertness goes unrewarded. And here we go. Satsuki states her ideas for posterity. The problem that I see is that they assume everyone who agrees with them about one thing agrees with them about everything. The problem that I see is that it's another version of corporate thinking, another way of being right-wing. The problem that I see is that they assume that I'll be a standard bearer. The problem that I see is they are only willing to write their words in chalk. The problem that I see is that they limit me to things that I had no control over. The problem that I see is that neither praxis nor priapism is on a spectrum. The problem that I see is that their personal truth has no dialogue with honesty. The problem, Satsuki states ideas she would later likely delete. I'll never be able to stop forcing emotions from myself. I'll never be able to be an eggshell. I'll never be able to be a pierced genital. I'll never be able to convince people. I saunter past the bar and the JPEGs of 2003 like it means anything. I step over the bar and the resurfaced insisting that sounds like a rhinestone. I ignore the bar and the people whose minds comprise the seventh circle. I shake my head at the bar, hoping to get money from acquaintances for friendship services. Satsuki notes the things that she has overheard. I try and fail and cannot help but hate the people who stay past closing and get distracted where there's a webcam on the wall, hoping no one saw you picking pepper out of your teeth while thinking, oh, it's all like modern art and this is being seen somewhere and I'm the subject in this moment, this ultimate moment. Take a drink, the gays, take a drink, it's empowering. I wonder if I know them. Old movies to me are like Dream a Little Dream. I wouldn't watch anything older because I'd be bored and I wouldn't even know what they were talking about. Imagine that. Mm-mm. This is called Pool. Your love brings me peace. Your beauty brings me fantasy. Your thoughts bring me reality. Our love, so naked and pure, of the dirt of the clouds. Your strength gives me courage. Your dreams complete mine. Our circle forever revolving. This is a really very old one. It's called Over Under and Hyperactivated. Fuels are leaning like customers lying inside of an insipid philosophy bag, and if you find three on the street, pick it up and say, hallelujah, I'm confused under the egocentric clam dip. The carbon copy has hairy feces fingernails. Where do you merchant off the dangling bangs that hover near the packing on early Tuesday mornings? And with a courteous, self-flagellant doorman who critiqued the wedding dress under the wheel while over the hills, but the Easter trio remained anonymous to the obligatory crabs, and they put their livers down and shot out the velvet painting of Delta Burke hanging dutifully and absurdly on the knee-length mirror. She then decided to scold him on the ethics of society banks with the languid fire alarm rung with a clear, resonant passion that foretold centuries of strife among living in the coal mines of Czechoslovakia and hugging too much of the wildlife during endless camping vaccinations. And her ribald drama routines reinvigorated all the little ones into tying up their parents and lighting chocolate bars into their armpits and screaming something to the downside of raccoons staple life to Jerry Falwell. This is called Would You Sell the Relics? The general that only cares about tomorrow also expects everyone to echo the same expression, and when the general can no longer see the power of their influence, they try and exert control over any small set of circumstances underneath their command. While the brigadier general worries no one if they need a transfusion, the colonel, who's concerned that not enough people's fingerprints matches theirs, requires a warning on the front page of each report, along with a summary cut together by a subordinate in a matter of minutes, so they don't have to waste any energy generating any contradictory thoughts. While the captain enters their coordinates so their location is known and updated every single moment, which leaves the captain free to make discoveries like the wheel or gravity, then sell their findings to the executives or campaign staff of their choice, urged by a strong sense of benevolence, a tribute to charity as a force. And the first lieutenant's unmatched love of history is proven by the pictures taken of their parents with Goebbels in Brazil in the 70s. And the second lieutenant's jealousy shows and grouses to one, that's not Goebbels, it's clear it's Martin Bormann. The sergeant major that reset the standards of esprit de corps doesn't know the panic they'll feel a few short years later when they are urged out of the way, or that they'll become stiff with resentment and resolute in their calls for punishment, and institute measures to monitor how the company behaves, while the staff sergeant writes on a photo of themselves, "The future points to you," and daydreams about collecting the remaining virginities from the sorority house down the road, and they already have the names, ages, and weights in a frequently updated database. Then the staff sergeant complains about commercials before content. The chief warrant officer who breaks ranks to research the order the alphabet was created in gets rueful about seeing themselves age and attending charity events, funerals, and hospital visits, seeing their face in the mirror more washed out than before, wondering as they write their commencement address who will even be paying attention in the audience, drinking from puddles, seeing what the sky says, not being able to read handwriting. And to the private, it's all an eye roll, and all so boring and shallow. To see another round of legacy shut out by an offhand remark, the private doesn't ask any of the officers where they should start. What's the matter where rebellion is kitsch and trauma is Walmart? The specialist greets the private. They each think that the other is a dilettante, and later the specialist considers, what's the matter where you have 1,000 followers and not a dozen supporters? Would you sell the Relics? All right. It's called White Cello. Talk to me. I'm in the open window. I'm not in time, but I've got your watch, and I need to learn to play this white cello. Scratch the surface. I'm on the shore with a can of sugar. It's never bitter. I'd really rather be playing, though, because I like the white strings and the white bow. That's not her. That's her was the simplest thing you said today. I'm still reeling, with no moments except now. You don't possess any microscope, so instead I will take the telescope. I'm trying to be angelic, which isn't easy after getting desensitized with disappointments. Every night eating fresh vegetables, but planning, you already know. And then you talk me out of it, for which I am eternally grateful. You don't have a pistol in your waistcoat. Your teeth aren't flecked with flax seeds. My misjudgments are my own, and most are unknown. It's just because I'm a pacifist doesn't mean that I'll just let a dumb motherfucker abuse me. And speaking of myself, notice me. I'm standing next to the tree where the guy crashed the stolen car, then got out and ran for it, but I could behave for over 100 days, and I've squandered my efforts and so much goodwill that I sometimes still need to convince myself that I should try to take lessons to learn how to play at all. But I'm sure that you want me to, and I know what I can do. And with that, we're not missing anything. We're humming songs to each other through the phone, through phone lines, across time, through the portals of existence. We're midnight movers. We're holy rollers without a religion. No, we're not. And don't be the guy on the bike in the right lane racing for his life against rush hour traffic in the morning. Please, I beseech you, I implore you, perhaps. I know you are, and you know that I care, and I feel like I'm Clark Kent all dressed up in primary colors, and I just haven't taken off my glasses yet. She said to me, as long as it's not evil, and I said to her, I cannot be evil. Certainly not right now. It's the rising sun, it's a hard-boiled egg, it's basil, it's a blue charm. I just want to play the white cello. I just want to sit in a circle and think about it some more. So we're going to wrap this up, or are we just going to test people's patience? No, I'm thinking out loud. It's warm communication. And that's what the fuck I'm talking about. So instead, we're going to change some channels. Quarters, diamonds, and nickels, and now somebody is really wearing a blue suit. Go to Swanson, go out and come to Swanson. It'll be like a reverse safari where they put lions, cheetahs, and tigers in a truck and driving around and showing people shopping and walking down the street bumming gas. It'll be the apex of manifestation. It won't be something that's in the Bible, but it will be exactly like the Bible. Or it'll be a suburban safari where some guy named Greg gives you a little bit of them and a little plastic binoculars you wait underneath the kitchen table for the cat's litter box. But why does it gotta be white? never heard from before. Advertising space available. Not fucking really. Clean, clear water. And, of course, the tastiest tomatoes. This is from a long time ago. This is a poem about freedom, and I'm very happy to have written it as a young man that I had the presence of mind and spirit to write such a thing. This is called Neil and Bobby Sock It To Me. I greet the bubbies with a smile and attempt to comb my hair for a while. I had my time on a red velour sofa. It's not mauve, it's not puce, it doesn't look anything like you. It's ugly, it's red, it's got plastic cushions. I spilled my apple juice on that sofa. Or is it a love seat? Or is it a futon? It might be a bidet for all I can see. Well, whatever the hell it is. I don't want to sleep on it or eat your chocolate cake anywhere near it. I don't even want to go in your house because your dog humps my leg, and your boyfriend picks my teeth, and your dad chews my eyelash, and there's not 1 inch of floor space clean enough to lick. You turn my water brown. You've seen how Granddad dresses like a clown. He's got a big red nose that's not nearly as revolting as that sofa. So, by the way, I'm not coming over tonight, so quit following me down the hall or hitting on me in the toilet stall, because any house with that much Elvis on velvet won't find me on their front porch swing or their Norman Rockwell painting. But maybe I will drop by, dressed in armor and a satin hat with some flowers for the maid and cocktails for the cat who never got me in the sack, and a muzzle for that goddamn dog. And I'll cut out your nose hair and put on your pancakes and yell, "Supper is served," so the butler can take a night off and throw some darts at Granddad. And for dessert, I'll serve pigs in a blanket garnished with spaghetti Suzette with some lighter fluid and a lock of your mom's pubic hair to torch that fucking sofa to the ground. Because it ain't Art Deco no matter how hard you try to swing it. And the vinyl siding may go up in flames, but it really ain't little pink house after all, now is it, Toots? And now, the magical time where we do the magical poem. This, of course, is called Dance the Night Away. A blue wave sprayed gently onto the window. It remained an unfaded crescent reaching over the rooftop. Birds flew through untethered. Droplets yawned in sonorous applause. The shapes succumbed, giving way by matching passing movements. As when water splashes in the sky, a maypole stands unraveled, while a sunfish kisses a butterfly. The fences were then a canvas, soaked tissue paper sprung over electrical wires, fragile fork tails freshly shaven. As bronze tiger beetles glanced up at the heavens, dance the night away! And that, everyone, is another exciting edition of the Quarantine Stream. We hope that you've enjoyed it. Let us hear the Quarantine Stream theme one more time, shall we? Beautiful. By the grace of God, we will be back next week. I'm fairly confident that we will be. Until then, don't forget, stay safe, stay smart, and the very important part, stay free, because you already are. Do not ever trust anyone who tells you that you are not free, because they are snake oil salesmen attempting to gain access to your soul, and they can't have it. They can't have your brain. They can't have your mind. They can't have your soul. So please do not react to reactionaries. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not react to reactionaries. There's no such thing as individual truth. There is just simply the truth. Live in the truth. Think in beauty. Stop reacting to reactionaries. Do not be afraid. You are already free. I fucking promise you that. So on that note, that you've enjoyed this. Like I said, by the grace of God, we will be back again next week. Thank you. And a special thank you to our wonderful opening act, Max and the Fuck. So we really enjoyed them, and we hope that you enjoyed them as well. All right, until next week, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye.